It's funny. I've now kind of figured. It's kind of interesting because I do know a lot of these comedians, and we all know, or actors or Hollywood community. I've now kind of figured it out where you went like, well, I know Sarah Silverman and Mark Ruffalo and Alyssa Milano. Like, I know their politics, and you go, but I don't know Jerry Seinfeld's politics, or I don't know Jay Leno's politics. I go, my new world order is when you don't know, go ahead and check the Republican box.
Let me put it this way. So if you showed up, if there was a thing that 20 years ago you showed up in blackface, I don't think you would get the pass that, say, Kimmel's gotten, because Kimmel is a big lefty now. He's a Hollywood lefty, so he gets a pass, right? Where you're more libertarian, conservative, or just sort of out there, so that now you're also self-funded, so that helps, right? Like you're your own boss, so that's good. But but you wouldn't get the pass. Do you agree with that?
Here's my take on it. I think they go where the getting's good. So they're basically feral cats looking for a saucer of milk. And if you don't put it out on the porch, they'll kind of keep going. People don't really bother me, even though I say horrible things. And not horrible things by my definition, but by their definition. I do have a picture of me in blackface. It's going as Mr. T for Halloween in like 1985. I put it out there. I'm like, look, listen, this isn't blackface. This is Mr. T. That's not blackface. That's a minstrel show. This is me dressing like Mr. T because I'm a fan of Mr. T's. So this is
that's the normal, thoughtful way of dealing with this, of course. You weren't doing it to mock the guy. You were doing it out of admiration and love.
Right. And you would like to take it and contort it and twist it into blackface, which is sort of generic, make fun of black people, vaudeville stuff. This is not that. So first things first, I'm not signing off on your definition of what I did. I dressed up as Mr. T. Mr. T is black. I went with a black face, which is not blackface. It's me dressing as Mr. T. And furthermore, I'm not apologizing to anybody about it. And if you talk to Mr. T, I bet he would be happy that a bunch of kids dressed like him in 1985 and said, I pity the fool, over and over again at Halloween parties.
I used to buy Mr. T cereal. That's far worse than doing blackface of Mr. T.
You consumed Mr. T. So I think with me, there's no job to remove me from per se. And then also, I don't apologize, and I also, the other thing is I don't I attempt not to let people create this narrative and create this theme, which is, there's a picture of you with black, it wasn't paint, I actually took I think I took a toilet paper roll and burnt the end of it and then like smeared the soot on my face. But there's a picture of you in blackface. And I go, no, there's a picture of me dressed like Mr. T. And they go, in blackface. I go, not blackface. That's a different genre. This is Mr. T. That's from the 40s or the 30s. This is from the 80s. But I go, I'm dressed as Mr. T. It's an homage to the man. And what do you want me to do about it? I'll put every picture up on the internet. I don't care.
Yeah. Are you kind of fascinated how it hits like every comic, no matter how sort of vanilla they are? There's a moment, it's in the movie, about Seinfeld telling this story about doing a college gig, and he does a joke about a gay British king or something, and
or
French king with a loose hand, and he said he did this joke, and the kids basically, this is like 5 years ago, the kids basically groaned, and it's like Seinfeld, who I love Jerry's stand-up. The show's the greatest sitcom ever. It's like, I don't know any of his political beliefs on anything. Like, he has so guarded what his actual political beliefs are, and he does this silly joke about a French king's hand, and that's even too politically incorrect for these students.
Yeah, it's funny. I've now kind of figured, it's kind of interesting, because I do know a lot of these comedians, and we all know, or actors or Hollywood community, I've now kind of figured it out, where you went like, well, I know Sarah Silverman and Mark Ruffalo and Alyssa Milano. Like, I know their politics. And you go, but I don't know Jerry Seinfeld's politics, or I don't know Jay Leno's politics. I go, my new world order is when you don't know, go ahead and check the Republican box, because my new theory I started thinking about, and I have some insider trading information here. I'm like, how come everyone else is out there blasting it out from the highest mountain? I mean, when you're on the left and you're not playing it close to the vest like a Morano, it's a Dennis Prager reference, but the Jews of Spain who are kind of like, don't let anyone find. If you are backing Bernie or Elizabeth Warren or whatever, and you're in the Hollywood community, you have a bullhorn and you're on a mountaintop. So if you really just kind of do the reverse math, like, who are the people whose politics you're completely unaware of and you've never heard them speak a word about it, you must go, how come I've never seen them at a rally, a women's rally, or marching on, or sending a tweet out about, and you go, I'm going to do a reverse math on that.
So you're saying Seinfeld ain't voting for Bernie?
I think the guys who you hear nothing about have a leaning that's probably a little less Bernie and probably a little more Trump.
Do you miss the days when not everything was so political? Because that also is what this movie is about, in that politics is now leaked into every part of society all the time. So it's like, you just mentioned Leno, and it's like, back in the day, like, I never really liked Leno because I didn't know what he thought about anything. And in a weird way, I miss that now. Like, I don't watch any of those late night shows, but every night, when you see clips on Twitter of, I can't even think of who's the host, who's the
Fallon,
Jimmy, and who's the other one,
Kimmel,
the NBC
Colbert.
one, the other guy, Seth Meyers. It's like they're just railing on Trump it's the same thing every night, over and over, where it's so political all the time, and it's made me sort of miss the day that Leno would just go up there and it was just like he was just doing this thing that was sort of for everybody.
Yeah, I think there's an element of a sort of a saturation point. Like, you did want Leno back in the day to dig into more substantive issues, or reveal a little more of himself and all that. And Jay, who I know really well, has always realized that this is a marathon and it's not a sprint.
I respect that now. I was hard on him for years when I was doing stand-up, and I regret it, actually.
And I think he's kind of realized that no good could come from him. I also believe there's some old school comedians who go, you're not supposed to know me. You're supposed to know my jokes. Like, I'm going to let my jokes do my talking. I don't want the distraction of you knowing I'm Republican or Democrat or gay or straight or anything. Like, I don't want anything bleeding into these jokes I'm going to lay over you. But also, when people know, when you take a stand as a Patriots fan, and you let the world know you're the number one Patriots fan, the Patriots are capable of then spending a decade losing.
Right.
Like, why declare a major when the next person could get voted in and this thing could swing like the other direction? It seems like you're putting your career needlessly in jeopardy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy for a comic, that truth-telling thing and the like thing. They can often just be at odds with each other.
Yeah, I do think that many comedians, as you know, just have a different approach to comedy.
If you're looking for more honest and thoughtful conversations about comedy instead of the nonstop yelling you get everywhere else, check out our comedy playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, check out our full episode playlist. They're both right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.